welcome everybody to a new tutorial. In this one we're going to be making a coin material. We're going to use ZBrush to make the coins, and then we're going to use Substance Designer to make the material itself. So very simple. We're just going to keep our symmetry active. I believe you can find the symmetry under transform here, but I've got all of my most used actions down below on a custom UI. What we're going to do, we're going to take this to the side and we're going to mask off a good chunk of it, but we actually need to divide this probably to about 5 or 8 million polys, and we're going to delete the lower. Okay, so we've got a nice fat coin there. We're going to group the masked area after masking it. So now you can see we've got two different colors, and we're going to get rid of this code. Shift Control click to get rid of that, and then we're going to delete the hidden. So now we've got this sort of a coin shape, and then we're going to close the holes. Okay, now we've got that. It's about 3 million polys, which is a little bit too dense, but I just wanted it a nice clean cut on the mask. So what we're going to do is take the Dynamesh. We'll probably bring this up a little bit to about 600, and we're just going to Dynamesh it, and you'll see that brings it down to about 800,000 polys. Okay, for now we don't need these groups. Okay, so we're going to auto groups to give us one single solid color, and we're just going to start working on this coin. So I'm going to change it from I'm going to keep it on Z, and I'm going to change it to radial, and we're just going to bring this count up to something like 32, and we're just going to, well, actually we'll make our brush a little bit bigger. We're just going to get this coin. Now it doesn't matter how fat the coin is, because we are just going to be using 2D images of these coins in our material via a height map. What we're going to do now is we're going to invert this mask by just control and clicking outside of somewhere. And let's just grow mask, sharpen mask. Okay, and what we're going to do next is we're going to inflate this a little bit. And let's group masked. Okay, so now we've got two different colors. Now I want to get rid of this for a second. And we're going to add some details to this coin. Alright. I think we're going to keep this here, make this a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to do something like that. I'm going to invert that. And we'll just inflate that a little bit. And then we'll take it out. Actually, I think we'll just give this a little bit of, actually, let's go back a couple of steps. I may fast forward some of this sculpting process just to make the tutorial not take forever. And that looks all right to me. And we'll just inflate that. Okay, now we got that. Dynamesh it. Actually, sometimes just might need to smooth that a little bit to get the Dynamesh to work. Okay, I'm going to get in with my damn standard and just give this a little bit more detail. Get a flatten in here, and maybe this orb flatten. And what we'll do is we'll just turn off symmetry for a moment, and we're just going to come in and attack random parts of this just to give it a little bit of diversity in its texture, because this will be our height map, and we do want the coins to not be too uniform. So I'm just doing a little bit of a breakup here. And then let's carry on with our design. I'm going to get my mask again, turn symmetry back on, and let's actually make that smaller. And let's pull this out. I think this will do. So now that we've got a coin, we can make another one, whatever you like. I've already made some more. So what we're going to do is we're just going to export this coin. Okay, so we're not going to export the 3D model, we're actually going to export the alpha. So I'm just going to go into this alpha menu here, and just be careful when you do this, okay, because it will save the alpha to this. So maybe use a random brush that you don't use too often, or just so you don't accidentally save your alpha onto that brush. Make sure you don't save the brush before you exit ZBrush. But we're going to go to alpha, okay, and we're going to go from mesh, okay, and we're going to get this image, okay, and what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to change the map size to 2048, okay, and then once we've done that, we'll press OK, and then we've got our alpha here, and we're going to go export and save it somewhere useful. Okay, I've already made a few more coins over the time, so I'm going to use some of those, but you should make coins and use reference as well when you're making the coins. So you know, you can make them as detailed or as little, make them as detailed or as little detailed as you want. You can make a stylized coin, you can make a realistic coin, you could trace over an existing coin, but I'm going to save this coin now, and then we will go into Substance Designer. Okay, now that we've got Substance Designer open, we're going to create a new graph, okay, and we're going to use a metallic roughness, and I'm just going to go coins blend. Okay, and we've got our outputs here, height, ambient occlusion, and we're going to drive the rest of the maps here from those two. So I'm going to search for we're going to go bitmap, and we're going to from file, and we're going to choose our coin that we just made before, and I'm going to link the resource just in case I want to change that later on, and I'm going to grab a couple of my other coins as well. Okay, so we've got the skull and crossbones that I've made previously, and we've got this one that we've made today with the 1 on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a tile generator, or maybe even a tile sampler. We'll just work with a tile generator for now, and we're going to go image input. We're going to make sure that goes into pattern, and then we're going to make this a multi-pattern. Pattern input number for now will go 2. Okay, and let's just get one more coin for good measure. Okay, this one here with some random pirate numbers on it, and let's add one more here, and we'll put this here as well. Okay, so now we've got all of our coins. Now we need to really play around with some settings, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the base base layer of coins. So first of all, we've got our pattern input number, that's correct. Rotation random, symmetry random, get a random amount of coins here. Scale, I'm going to scale them down a bit and scale random. And let's scale these up a little bit. And actually for this one, we're going to go up here and we're going to go 20 by 20. Okay, we're going to have a lot here. And some of these coins are real small, so we'll take our scale random, wherever it's gone. We'll bring it in like that. And offset, about 0.5. Offset random, about 0.5. Offset random seed, about 500, give or take. Position random, global offset. Vertical offset, change that to, I guess it doesn't really matter. Rotation, we're going to rotate these and we're going to make rotation random. Luminance random, to have some higher and some lower. And we're going to move these two around a bit. We don't really want them overlapping, but what we do want to do is what we're going to do is we're going to Control D and we're going to put this and we're going to get our global offset on the second one, and we're going to make it about 0.5 on each. Okay, so we've got that there. With that, and then we'll make more of a random rotation, and we'll just get a blend. We're going to blend these two together. I'm going to use something like we'll just go through these and find one that works. That one works. Okay. What we might also want to do on this one is change the offset to vertical. And we've got a little bit of a layer here. And on this one, we'll probably just change the scale as well. So select this blend node and then just click this once so we can play with the settings and see what happens underneath. We're getting a little bit of overlap, but it doesn't matter too much in this case. Let's change the scale random. Let's bring the scale down. And maybe make this one 25 by 25. And then maybe we can scale it up a bit then. Okay, so this is our base layer of coins. Okay. And we're going to make a duplicate of this node here. And we're going to bring this down to maybe 10 by 10. Okay. And we're going to do the same with this one. We go maybe 10 by 10. Okay, and we're just going to bring the scale down because we don't really want the overlap. On the bigger ones, we'll bring the scale up and then just change the offset. A little bit. Scale random. Okay. That one we'll just bring the scale down as well. Okay. And then we're just going to do the same blend with these. Okay. And then we're going to do a height blend. Okay, so that's in the bottom, which we want it to be, and that's on the top, which we also want it to be. Now there's little bits of overlap here and there, so we'll see what we can do about that. We'll do the contrast. Actually, let's see where that overlap's coming from. It's coming from this blend, so let's see if there's another blend mode we can use. No, I think that one's the best, max lighten. But let's just maybe pull down the scale. This one and the offset. Okay. Now what we want to do. Now there's little things like this. Now you can fiddle with it all day if you like, but to be honest, we're not going to go into this in this texture. I'm just going to bring this into the heights, and we're also going to get an HBAO node, and we'll plug that into the ambient occlusion. We can get rid of these two. Now you can see that we've got this material here, okay, and it's starting to look okay. However, we do want to maybe get another layer in here, so because we've got this black space here, so I think I want to get a 2D transform and 180 it, and do a blend, and we'll go max lighten, see how that looks. That's a little bit more depth, and we'll bring this one into the bottom like so. Okay, now we've got some layers. Now if we go into materials and we go to click on this Adobe standard tessellation and displacement, we just want to bring the tessellation factor up and the height level, and let's put this on something a little bit more readable. I think the rounded cylinder should do. And we go to our materials. Oh no, we've got that still open. And bring our height scale, height level. Okay, you can start to see that they're starting to pop out. And we've got our coins looking okay. There's little bits of overlap here and there. However, for the most part, it's looking all right, although some of them are jutting out more than they should. So I think I just want to take this and I want to get a levels over here, and I'm just going to hold shift and drag that out. I'm going to plug that into there, plug that into here. I'm just going to pull some of the white out of this one here, not too much though, and going to make it a little bit less lower contrast, because this one's not too great. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to see some of those jaggy edges. We're just going to fix those up by making a normal. So I'm going to make a normal, and we'll get rid of this and we'll plug that into there. Okay, there we go, we're getting some detail. Now what I do want is that coin that we just made in ZBrush. I think is the better of the three. So I want to make that one more prominent. But first of all, let's maybe change these to 15 by 15. This one can be maybe 12 by 12. Okay, so we've got our small layers of coins, and we actually want to mix this height blend. I think we don't want it like that. Quite low contrast, I think, and we'll make the height offset quite. No. There we go. We'll go back into our material, see if we can fix it there. Whoopsie. Tessellation factor. Bring that up to 32. Okay, and then we'll make our height scale a bit smaller, a bit more like that. Maybe a little bit higher than that. Make this like maybe 1.5. Okay. And finally, I'm going to get a new tile generator. And we're just going to use this pattern input. Image input. Actually, let's use one of these ones because we've already done the hard work. And we're going to go pattern input number to 1. Oh, I'll take this down to about 5 by 5, and we'll give it more of a scale difference. So let's make it like 3 by 3 even. And we'll change our offset random. We don't want any overlap. But let's see how this works when we do a height blend. We'll bring the height offset, and we're just going to quickly plug that into there, into there. And we just need to play with that. What's going on? Into the normal. Okay, so we've got our bigger coins, but they might be a little bit too big. So let's change that back to 5 by 5. And there we go. We've got our stack of coins. So let's start to texture them, or give them some definition. So first of all, I want to make a mask out of this. So we're going to get a histogram scan. And we're just going to bring the position up and the contrast right up, and we got our mask. Okay. Actually, let's just drag this mask up to here because we're going to be using it as part of our coloring. And let's get a gradient map. Okay. And let's plug this into here. And let's plug this into here, and we'll go into our gradient editor. I'm going to pick a gradient. I'm just going to sample something that I've got off screen and see if it is decent. Okay, and let's just take our metallic and actually make it metallic. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere. I might choose a different environment. And let's take our normal and we'll get a curvature out of that. And that is quite... Let's see what happens when we plug that in. Let's invert grayscale. Yep, that's kind of more to what I want. And let's get a levels and see what we can do with that. Okay, and we'll just make some noise. Just going to use grunge concrete. Okay, and we'll get a warp, and we'll get a purlin noise, and this is going to be the color. I'll bring that intensity down. Just go get a blur HQ grayscale. We'll bring this down to something quality to 1, and let's mix that. Blend. Getting mixed up with Blender. It's called blend, not mix. In Blender it's called mix, and in Substance Designer it's called blend, which is confusing. Okay, let's plug that levels in there, see what happens when we multiply. Let's just go through these and see if we can find something that we like. Maybe that. Okay. Let's give it a little bit more. Let's have a play around with this AO. Let's up the samples on the AO and see what happens. Not a lot. That doesn't matter. Height, depth. Give it a bit more depth. I think giving it a bit more depth in the AO, because it is more of a stylized object. And I think that if we put a levels in here and just see what we can do with it. Maybe take some of the white out. Actually, I don't want them to be too shiny. And now we've got that. Let's actually get rid of half of these colors here and just spread them out a little bit. And actually want some of them to be more of a silver in this case. Okay, those are more silver, but maybe they still need a little bit of color to them. A little bit of green. Okay, now we're going to duplicate this and we're going to make it a different color. I'm going to sample a different coin, and we're going to get rid of these darker patches here Then we're going to blend these two, but this is a mask. And let's see what we get. Okay, those gold coins are way too gold. So let's see to that. And maybe another gradient. Actually, let's mix in some of the AO to that color. Maybe a bit of stylized. So let's, what are we going to do? Pick a gradient. Let's try something like that. See what happens when we multiply this. Blend. And then just draw it back. And we use this as well. No, maybe we don't want to multiply that or use that mask, so let's try something else. Copy. And boom, we're kind of getting somewhere. Yeah, I'm starting to like the look of that. Okay, so we've got our different coins all stacked on top of each other. And honestly, you can play with this all day till you go blue in the face, but that is a coin material, no doubt about it. So there you go. Very quick and easy technique that you can use in ZBrush and Substance Designer. You could also sculpt this in other sculpting software such as Blender or Nomad Sculpt or Forger on the iPad, and then extract your alphas some other way. I'm pretty sure you can do depth maps in Blender, so you could extract it like that and then bring it into Substance Designer if you don't have ZBrush. But honestly, ZBrush is the way to go. It's a lot quicker than a lot of these other softwares. So let's see if we can see this on a different material. Rounded cube, torus. There you go. That's your money donut. Take that, Blender Guru. Alright, thanks a lot for coming along, and I hope that you learned something or found this useful. Like and subscribe and watch some of my other tutorials. Thanks a lot for